Hello and welcome to my weekly vibrational astrology forecast video. This is for the week ahead of Monday, February 3rd through Sunday, February 9th, 2020. My next video, my next forecasting video like this will be on the 10th, which is Monday, February 10th. I will be putting out another video this week. I'm not sure what day, but I'm going to get on a schedule with that. So I'll let you know soon when I know what day exactly it's going to be. But this video that I'm going to be putting out is going to be on the function of the planets, which is an interesting video to watch. I'm going to talk a little bit about it in this video, but I will get into each one of the planets in detail in that video. So before I do that, welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Starlene. I am a vibrational astrologer and I am an intuitive tarot reader. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can find my website. It is rockstarastrologer.com. The link is below. You can also find me on social media and all that jazz. That's also below. Happy to connect with you guys and all of that stuff. Feel free to leave me comments and let me know what you think of the video. And if you don't understand something, feel free to ask a question. I'm always happy to give you guys guidance and help you understand astrology. I know that vibrational astrology is very different than classical astrology or even modern astrology, and I love it because it makes so much sense to me. I love all the other systems of astrology. They're just not the ones that I use. So being a vibrational astrology, I tend to stay within the framework of vibrational astrology theoretical framework because it works for me. So, that's just how it is. So what I talk about in this video may seem a little bit off as opposed to what you might hear from other astrologers. And I thank you so much for listening to me. I know I'm small and just beginning this YouTube journey. I mean, it's been since September last year that I started this journey on YouTube. And I'm really grateful for you guys to follow me. And I really am getting excited to be able to teach and share some videos on different ideas of astrology, such as the function of the planets. And the reason I wanted to mention this is because this week we have a really Neptune energy this week, and traditional astrologers or classical astrologers aren't going to tell you that. What they're going to tell you is that we have the full moon coming up, and of course we do. And also we have Mercury in retrograde, which of course we do. But there's not a bunch of Neptune influence going on. But if you look at the midpoints of these planets, you will see that the midpoints have Neptune all over them. And what that means is 3 planets are actually connecting with each other, creating one planet in one spot in the chart, another planet, another spot in the chart, and then another planet in the center. And those 3 would be like exactly apart from each other in degrees. And I'll do a video on midpoints one day to explain them further, but that's basically a resonance that those planets make with each other that give us an energy to work with. Neptune, now, going back to the function of the planets, the function of Neptune is to connect with your highest ideals. And that may sound kind of weird to you if you know a little bit about astrology and you say, oh no, the function or the Neptune energy is dreamy and it's kind of floaty and it's kind of delusional or illusional or psychic or whatever. And yes, it can be all of those things too, but the function of Neptune always boils down to ideals. So for instance, say your highest ideal is to be an astrologer like me, right? My highest ideal to be an astrologer, it is expressed through, working my astrology, doing my YouTube channel, connecting with people and talking to people about astrology, educating people on astrology, doing consultations, that sort of thing. Now, say that's my highest ideals, right? That's my Neptune showing up in my chart. And when it's connecting with the other planets, it kind of shows me where my highest ideals are focused. Now, say if you're a business person and you're all about the money and you're all about like hustling and making that money and all that stuff, then your Neptune is your business. Your highest ideals is maybe money, and everybody is different. Everybody is different. So when I say I think you should look at what is your highest ideal in life, take that on a personal note and say, what is my highest ideal? What does that look like for me? Everybody's different. 100% everybody's different. But what is that highest ideal for you? Look at it and then figure it out and make it work for you. because that's where we get tripped up sometimes. You know, I don't think there's anything good or bad about astrology. I think astrology is a vibration that is going on that we are able to play in, you know, for lack of a better word, because we're all connected in this, you know, fabric of the universe. So, you know, as I talk about these midpoints and these vibrations that are going on, see how you can fit and work this into your life. See how you can fit and apply this to your own life. So if I say, you know, Mercury and Neptune and Saturn are telling you to talk about or to think about things really, you know, idealistically, but real things that you can accomplish or want to materialize, you know, in your thoughts. If I tell you that, apply that to your own life. Figure out how that works for you. Because for me, it might be like, oh, how can I materialize something by communicating, which is also, you know, that Mercury energy, and materialize being that Saturn energy. How can I do that? Through making a video. Well, maybe you're not a video person. Maybe you do that through, you know, communicating with your loved one, you know, and really sitting down and having an honest conversation with your loved one. You know, as you can see, the function of the planet always works. These symptoms may or may not work. It depends on where you are in your own life. And I will get into this in the video that I shared this week on the functions of the planets. I'll get into it deeper so you'll understand it more. But for today, I wanted to share this with you because we have such a Neptune week going on. So, and we have a Neptune week going on next week too, but this is the start of it. So back in January, we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction right by the eclipse. You know, we had this cutting away and letting go of things that just weren't meant for your next chapter. And then we had this rebirthing, this compulsion and drive to go somewhere else with ourselves. You know, that was that Saturn-Pluto energy. And now we're getting this Neptune hit and these Neptune connections saying now we have let go of this stuff we don't want, and we're reforming ourselves. But like, how do we reform ourselves? We have to start thinking about that in our mind before we can actually make it happen in our lives. You know, it's kind of, in a sense, the law of attraction works in that way too, right? Because if we don't see it in our mind first, then it's very hard for us to articulate and put action to in our life. So as you go through this week, think about how you can make your idealistic life work for you. And I'll get into how that's going to interplay this week through the midpoints, because the midpoints are very interesting how they roll out for us. Before I do get into the midpoints, I wanted to invite you, if you're in the South Florida area and you like vibrational astrology and you would like to learn more about vibrational astrology, on the 22nd of February, I will be giving a workshop. It's a day-long workshop with the Florida NCGR chapter at the Nova University. I will be doing it the whole day, teaching you guys about vibrational astrology and then using your charts to figure it out. So if you're interested in that, check it out. The link is below. Also in March, the end of March, we have the Vibrational Astrology Conference. This is the second conference that we've had. We had the first one last year. It was awesome. I did 2 lectures at last year's conference. This year I'm not lecturing, but I'm attending, and I'm also doing live mini readings in between the lectures. And I'm going there because I love vibrational astrology, and I'm so excited to hear the topics that the researchers have been working on. So if you're interested in that, that is in Gainesville, Florida at the very end of March. I think it's the last weekend of March. You can check it out. The link is below for that too. Likewise, you can find my website if you would like to schedule a consultation with me. It is Starlene Breiter at StarleneBreiter.com. StarleneBreiter@gmail.com is my my email address if you would like to get in touch with me as well. For some reason that seemed to want to come out of my mouth today. So yeah, okay. So all of that said, oh, and one last thing before I jump into the astrology for the week is the winner of my giveaway last week is Digital Uploads. Digital Uploads, please get in touch with me. I think we're Instagram friends. Message me and let me know so we can schedule your consultation. I did a giveaway every week in January because it was my birthday month and I wanted to celebrate with you guys. I did a few giveaways in December as well because of the holidays. And I will be doing more giveaways, you know, as the year unfolds and such. So thank you guys for participating, and you know, I really do appreciate it. I also wanted to say thank you guys for watching my videos and really supporting me on this journey. It's only been a few months that I've been doing this, but I feel like I've learned so much, and I feel like I'm starting to collect a group of people around me that are interested in what I have to say about astrology. You know, astrology is such a vast subject, and we could get lost in the sea of astrology somewhere. And I'm grateful for those of you that follow me that like to understand about vibrational astrology. I also will tell you that next week I have an announcement that's going to be pretty awesome about vibrational astrology that I have not announced yet, but I'm really, really excited about it. So make sure you tune in next week as well. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the astrology for this week and let you guys know what is going on. I will also give a gemstone suggestion to work with at the end of the video so that you know what gemstone you might want to work with. And also, please hit that notification bell if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that notification bell, because I'll be doing videos at least 2 a week from here on out. And I'll be doing this forecasting video, and the other video will be either a video on a topic such as I'm going to be doing with the function of the planets, or an interview with another astrologer, an interview with a tarot consultant. I have a few things lined up that I'm going to be doing, so feel free to hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you can know when I do those videos. And if you follow me online, of course, on different social media platforms, I will also be doing announcing it then. So with all that said, we're going to start off with the midpoints. So the midpoint that had started last week and is actually winding up today is the Saturn at the midpoint of Mercury and Mars. The peak of it is today. So this is really deep thinking. This is actually, by the way, it's the only midpoint that's going on this week that doesn't have Neptune in it. This has us having deep thinking, power of concentration. This has us, you know, feeling like we can really, really, really think about things easily. Saturn, like I said, it brings about that really strong ability to focus in on the structure of things, and Mercury is our mind and our communication, and Mars is our energy. So on Sunday, yesterday, and Monday today, because I'm filming this on Monday, we have the ability to concentrate and have the power to concentrate as well. The negative side of this is that we can also be hurtful with our words. So make sure you're conscious and aware of your words and your communications with other people, because it can come off as being a little bit cold. So try to remember that before you actually say something. Filter it through your mind and say, am I being cold? Am I being rough? Am I being cutting? You know, because that Saturn energy can sometimes be cutting. If you are, then, you know, think about saying it in a different way, or hold off saying it. Okay, so the next set of midpoints are midpoints that are new this week. They begin and end this week. The first one is Mercury at the midpoint of Sun and Neptune. And this one lasts Monday and Tuesday, and the peak of it is on Monday. And this is our desire to express our artistic talent. So if you're artistic in some way, or if you're creative in some way, if you're not, maybe you should be, because I think everybody has some creativity in themselves. I think creativity can come out in many different ways too. So like, for instance, you might like be this person that paints, and that's your creative expression. You might be this person that goes and does running as a sport. I mean, I do both of those things, and those are, to me, both very creative, because they're expressions of things that I love and of things that I can creatively do. You know, so whatever that creative energy is for you, I think that it would be a great time to express it during this time, during this Monday and Tuesday. You also have the desire and the talent to solve problems that you may come across, because Mercury, remember, is our mind. And the sun and Neptune, the sun is like shining the light on your ideals here. And it's like, hey, what would your ideal life or your ideal mindset be during this time? Maybe thinking about that, is my mind in the right place for itself? Should I start saying some affirmations that are healthy and helpful for me as opposed to being pessimistic or negative? It's important for us to always check in with ourselves when we, move on through this life. And this is a time that we can actually do that. The next midpoint is Sun at the midpoint of Jupiter and Neptune. And this is on Tuesday and Wednesday with the peak energy on Wednesday. And this is really like the sun, it really shines onto our ideals. So again, the sun and in the middle of Jupiter and Neptune, the sun is illuminating Jupiter, which makes things big, and Neptune, which is our ideals. So we're really thinking about what our ideals are, and I want you to dream big here. I don't want you to dream small. I want you to say, oh, I want to be the best, whatever I want to be. I want to do the best thing, whatever it is that I want to be. It's an exciting energy because Jupiter in this placement has an exciting, and the sun has an exciting vibe to Neptune. It's like, oh, I want to be the best car salesman ever, if that's what your dream is. I want to be the best whatever, and think about it, and say, even if it's something you're just starting off, if there's nothing wrong with dreaming about where you would like to see yourself being and creating that for yourself, because I think you have to think it first and then it manifests in your life. So the next one is Neptune is in the middle of Mercury and Venus, and this is on Thursday and Friday. The peak is on Thursday, and this is really an understanding of other people. So Neptune has that, in this sense, has that idealistic ability to connect with our mind and with our heart. That's Mercury and Venus. And it has us feeling somewhat sympathetic, somewhat with an ability to see things clearly, So during this time, Thursday and Friday, you may have the opportunity to communicate with other people and actually understand them when you may not have before. This would be a great time to have a sit-down conversation with your loved one or your partner in work and say, hey, let's create this dream of ours, this dream life. If it's your partner, let's create this for ourselves, because this is what would be beautiful to both of us. To your partner at work, it might be like, hey, I have this dream for our business to go in this direction. Let's do this. Whatever it is that you would like to communicate in the sense of your dreams is something, and that's coming from your heart, is something you should express during this time. It's the last midpoint that actually begins and ends this week, not the last midpoint. But the last midpoint that begins and ends this week is the sun at the midpoint of Neptune and Pluto. So the sun's in the center this time. And this is Sunday and next Monday. So not today, the 3rd, it's next Monday, the 10th. And this is sensitivity to a very powerful degree. So the sun and Pluto can make us like compulsive or intense. And then Neptune is kind of like that sensitivity, So in a sense, you may feel sensitive to other people's emotions. You may feel sensitive to, being like really driven by something. If you're feeling that way, make sure you dial it back and say to yourself, okay, this is a time of me having this sensitivity. Do I want to pursue it and express it? Or do I want to kind of allow myself to roll with it? This can be very powerful, but can also give you a chance to like chill to the nth degree as well. If you need to relax and not, do too much or push forward too much, this can also be an opportunity for you to do that as well. So this is Sunday and next Monday. So the midpoints that begin this week and end next week. The first one is Pluto at the midpoint of Sun and Mars. Now, these are not Neptune midpoints, but there's a lot of Neptune energy I will talk about next week. This starts on Sunday and ends on Tuesday. The peak is on Monday, next Monday. So this is, just this Sunday coming up, and then it goes into next week. I'm mentioning this because Sunday, they both affect us on Sunday. So this is like us making a really deep, great effort towards something that we believe in. It can even make us a little bit fanatical about things that we want to create in our world. Because Pluto has that being in the center of Mars and the sun. Pluto makes us driven. So if you're wanting to start an exercise regime or do something with your energy, like go start biking or something like that, this would be a great time to do that. And I say if you want to start it because, if you start something like that, if you don't already do it, if you start something like that, to start it under an energy that is supporting of that will help carry you further, as opposed to if you start it when the energy is more like lax and chill. So if you start it under the energy of something that is like, okay, I'm going to go get this, I'm going to make this happen for myself, then the chances of you keeping with it is better. So make effort towards the things that are important to you. And try not to be fanatical about it. If you catch yourself, getting a little fanatical about something, just dial it back a little bit and remember that this is an intense time for you, or for everybody really, because it might not be you yourself feeling fanatical, might be someone else. So the last midpoint to talk about that begins this week and ends next week is Mercury at the midpoint of Jupiter and Uranus. So Mercury's in the center of Jupiter and Uranus. This is starting on Monday or Sunday and then ends on Monday. And this is lots of thoughts, many ideas. You might be feeling witty, or other people around you are feeling witty. And this is actually fortune in regards to your thought process, in regards to your philosophy, even possibly regarding your occupation. So this is a chance for you to, along with that Pluto, Sun, Mars energy, having you be a go-getter, this Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus energy is saying, hey, how can I think myself into a way of success? So Sunday and Monday, and leading into Tuesday as well with that Pluto, Sun, Mars, has us feeling energetic towards what we want to do, and has us thinking about how we can make that happen, and thinking about it in a big way. Remember, don't think too small with your dreams, because I think that's the big mistake that we do with ourselves. Oh, I can't get up on that stage and talk to that group of people because I'm not good enough. Don't do that to yourself. If that's what you want to do and that's your dream, you get up there and you do it. Even if your voice shakes, it's okay. I promise you, it's okay. So those are our midpoints for the week. I'm going to talk now about the 2 planet aspects and the ingresses. The first thing that we have on Monday, February 3rd, Mercury makes its ingress into Pisces. As of recording this, it has already made its move into Pisces. So Mercury does stay into Pisces until March 4th. It goes retrograde, I think, on the 16th of February, and goes back into Aquarius. So between March 4th and 16th, it is retrograde back into Aquarius and then direct. And then from March 16th to April 11th, it'll be in Pisces again. So during this time, we may be having a do-over in our mind. We're starting to enter the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. We've already entered the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. The end part of Aquarius is the shadow period. So, we may be noticing that those Mercury retrograde things are kind of happening. On Monday, it may get a little bit more intense. Always when a planet is stationed retrograde, which Mercury is doing, or stationed direct, when it goes back from retrograde to the direct moving motion, those are the most intense parts of the retrograde. That's for every planet. And so you might also notice, though, your mind is going back over things starting on Monday on to the end of the retrograde phase, going back over things that it has, you're thinking about in this time. So if that happens, take note of it. Think about how maybe you can do things over a little bit better mentally. That might be a good way for you to express that. It's a good time for you to reflect, for you to think about your mental status. Are you happy? Are you content? Do you need some, to talk to someone? Do you need to emote, something like that? Mercury in Pisces is very, very emotive, very sensitive, very, very sweet in the way that it communicates. Okay. So that is Mercury ingress into Pisces, and then Mercury retrograde, which I will talk about in a couple weeks. It hasn't quite made Mercury retrograde, but it will be in a couple weeks, and we're entering in the shadow period right now. The next thing that happens on Monday is Mercury in Pisces makes a sextile to Saturn in Capricorn. This happens at 5:01 p.m. Of course, this is Eastern Standard Time because that's the time zone I'm in. So it really affects us on Monday and Tuesday. And this is really our attraction and our attention will be on things that we love that are lasting and meaningful to us. So your attention is not going to be on the sparkly thing that's going to fade away in 2 days. Your attention is going to be on somebody, something, a project, a person, a thing that is meaningful to you. And it should be. It should be something that's going to last. Sometimes it's great to pay attention to the sparkly fun things. That's that, but that's not this energy. This energy is beautiful because Venus is bringing the beauty along with it, and this active, harmonious sextile to Saturn and Capricorn, saying, hey, this is a great feeling. I would like to put my attention on something that's meaningful and attractive to me, but that I think will last, not something that is not going to last past tomorrow. The next aspect, the next day, the 4th, there is no aspects. And then the 5th, Mercury in Pisces makes a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. This happens at 4:43 a.m. and it's only really effective on Wednesday. And this is really you finding some support in your ideas. It really is reminding you to be present with your thoughts, because Uranus always has us wanting to be present. We may have some wild thoughts during this time because, Mercury's like, hey, and connecting with Uranus kind of sparking our minds. And it may be inspirational too, but be present. No matter what you're feeling mentally, you may also, if you're feeling negative, be on the side of like, oh my gosh, I'm reeling with my thoughts and they're not good. If you catch yourself doing that, bring it back and remind yourself not to reel and replace those reeling thoughts with positive thoughts. Okay? That's a way to work with that. So Thursday, we have February 6th, we have no exact aspects. Friday, February 7th, we have Venus ingress into Aries, and this happens at 3:01 p.m. and it will last from February 7th to March 4th. And Venus in Aries is like our love is on fire, our beauty is set on fire. Venus is happy in Pisces. It feels sweet, it feels loving, it feels nurtured, it's supported. Moving into a fire sign, it's like intense. We might be feeling like passionate. We might be feeling like we want to go find love. We might be feeling like, love is in the air. Aries is the first mark of spring. Of course, this is Venus. We're not talking about the sun here, but the energy of Aries is the first mark of spring. It's a beginning. It's the start of something. So during this time when our love, our attraction to beauty is in the sign of the spring, which is Aries, we may be feeling like, hey, where is the love, the new love? Is something coming to me that's new? That might be the vibe that you feel from February 7th to March 4th. Of course, I really do, and being a vibrational astrologer, I do understand that the signs have some weight there, but I definitely think the meat and potatoes of astrology, meaning like the most important parts of astrology, are the connections of the planets, the midpoints and the harmonics, not just the planet in a sign, because that's very general. But I do talk about it because I know a lot of people like to hear about, what Venus ingress into Aries means. Okay. So moving on, Saturday, February 8th, there are no exact aspects. Sunday, February 9th, we have the full moon in Leo. This happens at 20 degrees of Leo, and this happens at 2:33 a.m. Eastern time. So this is a great time to make some affirmations with ourselves about where we see ourselves in the world. You know, what we want to project ourselves out into the world. Make some affirmations about this. Light a candle, say a prayer. You know, how do I want to be viewed? You know, Leo is the energy of wanting to be seen and be viewed, and that person on stage. Leo can also be on the other side of Leo, can also be kind of like the quiet, reserved person. That's like, I know a Leo in particular. She has a strong Leo chart. She's writing books, so maybe that's your thing. But write some intentions about what you want to see yourself doing in the world, what you want to bring to the world. That's the very moon and Leo energy. The midpoints during the full moon for the full moon in Leo. I spoke about one, which was Sun at the midpoint of Neptune and Pluto. And then we also have Moon at the midpoint of Neptune and Pluto. Those are both 31 minutes apart from being exact during the full moon. And as I said, the Sun in Neptune Pluto was sensitivity to a very powerful degree. It's a very sensitive energy. The Moon and Neptune to Pluto is a very high degree of sensitivity. Mood changes in our moods that can be quite dramatic. It's also an inclination to respond to something immediately instead of actually taking a moment to think about how you're going to respond to something. So during this full moon, think about how you might respond to things on a very even tone as opposed to just responding. Think about your ideals, which is that Neptune energy, Pluto, which is that energy of that drive and compulsion that we have, and the Sun and Moon, and how we can actually make something very powerful for ourselves in regards to our ideals in the next month unfold. So this is why I say this week is very Neptunian. Not only do we have all those Neptune midpoints, we have this Neptune-Pluto midpoint at the full moon. So it's like we have 4 planets here in this resonance that are really, really, really powerful and leading us into the next month. So think about, where do you want to be in the next month? Where do you want to say, I accomplished this, this, and this? Maybe you don't accomplish them all, but don't think small and think I'm only going to accomplish one thing. Write a list of things you want to accomplish down and then make them happen. Take action to make them happen, because I think you'll be surprised at where you go with that. So that is it for our astrology for the week. I want to thank you all for watching. Of course, I do also want to invite you to come back next week. We have the Mercury retrograde, the actual Mercury retrograde that I will talk about. And we have Mars ingress into Capricorn and other things that we'll talk about. And before I wind up, I want to talk about the gemstone suggestion for the week. So the gemstone suggestion for the week I chose is rhodonite. Rhodonite is awesome. It's an emotional balancer. This is a pyramid of rhodonite. I love it because it has that black energy to it. Also has that pink energy to it. It is an emotional balancer. It clears out emotional wounds that we might have, and also helps to aid in clearing emotional scars. And it also activates the heart chakra. It also helps to clear emotional destructive behavior. So if you're having some destructive behavior on an emotional level, or codependency or abuse, it helps to aid in healing that as well. It's the pyramid, of course. It also encourages like unselfish self-love. Some people think, oh, I can't give myself love because I have to give myself to everybody. And a lot of empaths are like that, right? But you have to love yourself first, or you can't love others. That's my opinion. Here's another piece of rhodonite. It's just a slab, but I thought I would share a couple different types of rhodonite. You don't have to have a pyramid. You don't have to have a big slab like this. You can have a small stone if you want. The energy is that in every piece of rhodonite. But it's also really wonderful for unselfish self-love and forgiveness. So remind yourself during this time of making your dreams happen that you're not being selfish by creating your dreams for yourself. You're actually helping the world to understand what they could be creating for themselves too. I think the best way to help someone and to help other people is to lead by example. So if you're leading your children, if you're kids and you're leading by example, you live the best life that you can. You take care of yourself the best way that you can. And then your children will see, wow, that's what we do, you know, as opposed to telling them. They'll listen much better. Same with if you're trying to lead at work, you know, you do the best job that you can because other people will see that and try to emulate that because that's the best way to show. And that is all to do with self-love. So rhodonite is definitely a great gemstone to work with this week. All right. Thank you guys. I know this has been a long video. I really, 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 really appreciate all of you. I thank you so much for watching my videos and for all the comments and letting me know how it resonates with you. I appreciate you. I welcome you to make sure that you come back on next Monday to watch my video and look out for my video that I will be doing on the function of the planets this week. All right, you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.